Ready, Freddy. Halloween Fraidy Cat. By Abby Kline. Illustrated by John McKinley. Chapter 1. You're invited. Guess what, everyone? Chloe said excitedly, as the class sat down to lunch. Next Saturday I am going to have a big Halloween party, and you're all invited. Cool, Max said. That sounds like fun, even if it is at your house. That's not a very nice thing to say, Max. I'm not going to invite you now unless you say you're sorry. But. Max stammered. Chloe got on his nerves, but he really wanted to go to the party. Chloe lived in a huge house, and she always had the best parties. I'm waiting, Chloe said with one hand cupped behind her ear. What do you have to say to me, Maxwell? Max's face turned bright red. He hated being called Maxwell. I'm sorry, Max mumbled. What's that? I didn't hear you, said Chloe. You need to speak up. She was really enjoying acting like the teacher. Sorry, he barked in her face. Well, you don't have to yell, Chloe said as she shrank back. I think she realized she was starting to make Max angry, and that was definitely not something anybody wanted to do. After all, he was the biggest bully in the whole first grade. Okay, you can come, but don't get any slime or fake blood on my new pink satin gown, Chloe said. My mom had someone sew it just for me because there wasn't one I liked at the costume store. Let me guess, Jessie said. You're going to be a princess for Halloween. Yes. How did you know? Chloe chirped. A lucky guess, Jessie couldn't help muttering. Personally, I think you should be the bride of Frankenstein. You, Chloe said, wrinkling up her nose. That's not very pretty, and besides, I would never be married to a monster, only Prince Charming. Whatever, Cinderella. I wouldn't be caught dead wearing pink, said Jessie. I'm going to be Dracula. I've already got the bloody fangs. Girls can't be Dracula, Max said, laughing. Why not? Asked Jessie. Because that's a boy's costume. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Says who? Says me. Well, you're wrong. The great thing about Halloween is that you can dress up as anything you want. Right, Freddy? Yeah, right, I said. I think Jessie is going to be a great Dracula. I can't wait to see her in her costume. I bet it's going to be really scary. You know Jessie's not afraid of anything. And how about you, wimp? Max said, turning his attention to me. What are you going to be this year? Wait, let me guess. Some kind of shark? What makes you think I'm going to be a shark? Because you dress up as one every year, said Max, twirling his right pointer finger to make the cuckoo sign. Freddy is not crazy, said Jessie. He just really likes sharks. Is there anything wrong with that? No, it's just so boring to be the same thing every year, Max said. I do really love sharks. They are my favorite animal on the planet. I dress up as a different kind of shark each year for Halloween. Last year I was a thresher shark, but the long tail sort of got in my way. This year I was thinking of wearing a hammerhead costume. I hadn't actually decided for sure yet. Well, Max, for your information, Robbie interrupted. Freddy is a different kind of shark every year. All sharks are not the same, you know. Robbie is my best friend, and he is like a science genius. He knows everything about everything. Whatever, geek, Max shot back. You all are so boring. Oh yeah, said Jessie. What are you dressing up as, Max? A ballerina? Everyone at the table started to crack up. I was laughing so hard I thought my milk was going to come out of my nose. The thought of Max in a pink leotard and tutu was hilarious. Ha ha, said Max, very funny, but no. A bunny rabbit with whiskers and a little cottontail? Jessie continued. Now I was laughing uncontrollably. I almost fell off the bench I was sitting on, and some chewed-up bologna came flying out of my mouth. Jessie was so brave to always stand up to Max. I wish I were that brave. Oh, that's so funny, I forgot to laugh, Max said. Then he narrowed his eyes. If you wimps really want to know, I am going to be a zombie. My costume is going to scare the pants off all of you guys. What do you mean? Chloe squeaked. How scary is it? I could tell she was starting to think twice about inviting Max to her Halloween party. It was the scariest costume in the store. I wasn't sure I wanted to hear about Max's costume, or see it for that matter. I was really afraid of ghosts, goblins, and monsters of any kind. Just seeing them gave me nightmares, but I didn't want to say that, or everybody would think I was a baby. Oh, yeah, what makes it so scary? I said, trying to sound as tough as possible. It has this pump inside, Max continued. That pumps fake blood. If I squeeze the handle, it looks like blood is dripping down my body. It is so cool, and the blood looks real. The mask is really scary, too. When I tried it on in the costume store, some little girl started crying. I gulped. That really did sound scary. I thought if I saw it, I might have nightmares for months. It doesn't sound that scary, Jessie said. Besides, we know the blood is fake. Right, I thought to myself. Now, just remember the blood is fake. Well, we'll see how brave you all are next Saturday, said Max. I can't wait, said Jessie. I'll be laughing, not crying. Yeah, laughing, I mumbled, smiling weakly. Maybe I could get the chicken pox by next Saturday, and then no one would know what a fraidy cat I really was. Chapter 2. Fraidy Cat. Freddy, honey, you got some mail today, my mom said as she handed me a bright orange envelope. Did I get one? Susie asked. No. Sorry, honey. Just Freddy. That's not fair. Susie whined. What do you mean it's not fair? My dad asked. Your mother and I do not work at the post office. We don't control the mail. Let me see it, Susie said, trying to grab the envelope out of my hand. Who's it from? Susie, my dad said, that is Freddy's mail, not yours. Stop trying to grab it. Well, I just want to know who it's from, she insisted. Freddy will tell you as soon as he opens it, my mom said. Just be patient a minute. Oh, I don't need to open it. I already know who it's from, I said. Do you have special powers? My mom asked. How do you know who it's from? It's from Chloe. Chloe? Susie said. You don't even like her. What would she be inviting you to? She's having a big Halloween party, and she invited the whole class. She told us about it at lunch today. Well, I guess we know who won't be going, Susie teased. Why wouldn't Freddy go? My mom asked. Why wouldn't he go? Why wouldn't he go? Are you kidding me, Mom? Susie said. Yeah, Susie, said my dad. Why wouldn't Freddy go to a Halloween party? Because he is only the biggest fraidy cat on the whole planet, Susie continued. He can't even look at pictures of monsters without having nightmares. I can, too. I butted in. Oh no you can't, said Susie. The last time you saw that movie poster with the zombies on it, you had nightmares for weeks. Well, even tough guys get scared once in a while, said my dad, winking at me. And besides, Freddy's getting to be a big boy, said my mom. I think he's old enough to go to a Halloween party and not have nightmares. Oh yeah, right, Susie snickered. I opened the envelope and looked at the invitation. There was a spooky haunted house on the front, and above the house it said, "Come to our haunted house if you dare. You'll have a ghoul of a good time." See, what did I tell you, said Susie. It's going to be a haunted house. Then she made her voice sound spooky. And in a spooky haunted house, there are ghosts, and goblins, and monsters that jump out at you. Then she jumped at me and yelled, "Boo!" I leaped about 10 feet in the air. Susie started laughing hysterically. That was one of the funniest things I ever saw. You are such a fraidy cat, Freddy. Susie, that was not very nice, said my mom. You didn't need to scare him like that. Scare him? All I did was yell boo. If he was afraid of that, there is no way the little baby can go to this party without his mommy and daddy. Moms and dads aren't invited. I interrupted. It's for kids only. Then you'd better call and tell them you won't be coming. Susie, that is enough, my dad said. Unless you have something encouraging to say to your brother, I would like you to keep your mouth shut. But. Susie stammered. I mean it, said my dad. Or else I'll send you to your room. The party sounds really fun. Chloe was talking about it at school today, and everyone's going, I said, trying not to sound nervous about it even though I was. I know you've been scared of some Halloween creatures, said my mom, but I bet they don't scare you anymore. I think you are old enough now to go by yourself. Of course I'm old enough to go, Mom. I'm not afraid of those things. I'm not a baby, I said, still trying to convince myself. Susie started to open her mouth again, but my dad glared at her, so she closed it and didn't say anything. That's right, said my dad. There's nothing to be afraid of. I know the blood is fake, and the monsters are just dolls or people dressed up in scary costumes. Exactly, said my dad. When is the party? My mom asked. Next Saturday. Next Saturday. That's only a week away. We'd better get started on your costume. I was thinking that this year I would be a hammerhead, Mom. Ugh, Susie moaned. A shark. Are you ever going to dress up as something else? What difference does it make to you, Susie? My dad asked. It's just that there are so many cool costumes at the party store. I thought that one year Freddy might wear something that didn't embarrass me. Those shark costumes are just so lame. I beg your pardon, young lady, said my mom, but I work very hard on those special shark costumes. Because I can't find any shark costumes in the store, every year my mom makes my costume for me. Don't get me wrong, Mom, Susie continued. You do a great job. But I mean, who dresses up as a shark? Halloween is a time for ghosts, and monsters, and ninjas. Halloween is a time to dress up as your favorite thing, and Freddy loves sharks. Why shouldn't he dress up as one? One year I could understand, but every year? Do me a favor, just look at the other costumes this year, okay? Said Susie. Fine, I'll look, I said. Maybe she had a point. Maybe I wouldn't be so afraid of the monsters if I dressed up as one. I could remind myself that it was just a person in a costume like me. Well, since the party is next weekend, I'd better take you two to the party store tomorrow, my mom said. Cool, said Susie. I hope they still have the Bride of Frankenstein costume I want to wear this year. Yeah, cool, I mumbled, faking a smile. I was already starting to feel a little queasy about seeing those monster masks staring down at me from the party store wall. Chapter 3. It's just a mask. The next day after school, my mom took Susie and me to the party store to pick out costumes. As we pulled up, Susie pointed out the window and yelled, "Oh, look! That is the coolest costume ever." In front of the store, there was a guy dressed in a zombie costume carrying a sign that read, "The best costumes in town." "Freddy, isn't that a cool costume?" Susie said. "Maybe you want to be that this year." I wasn't even sure if I wanted to get out of the car. That thing was really scary. I had to look away. Earth to Freddy. Earth to Freddy, Susie said, waving her hand in front of my face. What? I said, isn't that a cool costume that guy is wearing? Don't you want to be that this year instead of some dumb old shark? Yeah, maybe, I said, smiling weakly. Who was I kidding? I wouldn't put that costume on if you paid me $1,000,000. It was way too scary. I wouldn't even be able to look at myself in the mirror. My mom stopped the car and Susie jumped out. I didn't move. I was still trying to talk myself into getting out of the car. It's just a guy in a costume, I mumbled to myself. It's just a guy in a costume. Did you say something to me, Freddy? Asked my mom. Just then, when I wasn't expecting it, Susie knocked on the window, and I let out a scream. Susie started to laugh. You are such a fraidy cat, she yelled through the window. Let's go, or all the good costumes will be gone. I got out of the car and grabbed my mom's hand. Susie ran ahead and ran right up to the zombie. I was planning on avoiding him altogether, but then Susie yelled, Hey, Freddy, come over here. Check out this awesome costume up close. I really didn't want to go over there. I wasn't ready to get that close. Not just yet. I'm sure they have it inside, I called back. I'll see it when we get in there. Whatever, Susie said. We all went inside. The place was packed with kids trying on costumes. A princess, a pirate, a ninja, Frankenstein. Oh, look, there's Frankenstein, Susie said. I hope that means they also have his bride. Let's go look in the girls' section. I'll just stay here and wait, I said. Freddy, honey, it's really crowded in here, my mom said. You need to come with us. I don't want to leave you by yourself. Oh, I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I won't go anywhere. I'll just stay right here. No, you need to come with us, my mom insisted, pulling me by the hand. I don't want to lose you. Can we go this way? I asked, pointing in the other direction. Freddy, what is wrong with you? I know what's wrong with him, Susie piped up. He's too afraid to walk past the wall of masks. The what? My mom asked. The wall of masks. That's where they hang all the really scary masks, and you have to walk past it to get to the girls' section. I am not afraid of that dumb wall, I said. I really was, but there was no way I was going to let Susie know that. I, just don't want to watch a bunch of girls try on silly princess costumes. Well, you don't have a choice, my mom said, dragging me down the aisle. We all need to stay together. As we walked, we were getting closer and closer to the masks. My palms were starting to sweat. Those masks were so freaky, staring down at us with their evil eyes. My heart started beating faster. What was I going to do? I know. I would just not look at them. I'd keep my eyes on the kids trying on costumes. Pretend to be interested in that. Freddy, look, Susie said, interrupting my thoughts. How about that one? She was, of course, pointing to one of the scary masks on the wall. I just kept walking. Freddy, did you hear me? She said, tapping me on the shoulder. I said to look at that one that looks like a werewolf. I think you should be that for Halloween. There was no avoiding it. I had to look at it, or she would never stop calling me a fraidy cat. I lifted my eyes slowly, took a quick peek, and then quickly turned away. Nah, I don't like that one. You didn't even look at it, Susie protested. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. All right. Enough, you two, my mom said. Susie, you need to let Freddy choose the costume he wants, and you choose the costume you want. Well, if the fraidy cat can't even look at a mask without getting freaked out, I don't know how he's going to go to a haunted Halloween party. I am not a fraidy cat. I yelled at Susie. Freddy, we are in a store, my mom said, putting her finger to her lips. Please keep your voice down. Tell her to stop calling me a fraidy cat. I am not a fraidy cat. I know you're not a fraidy cat, sweetheart. Don't let her get to you. You know your sister says things like that just to bother you. Just then, we rounded the corner to the girls' section. Susie ran to find her costume, and I finally started to breathe a little easier. At least I didn't have to look at those scary masks anymore. Maybe Susie was right. Maybe I really was a fraidy cat. I mean, I was actually afraid of masks. Masks. Just looking at those horrible things made my stomach do flips. I got the last one. I got the last Bride of Frankenstein costume, Susie called as she came running over to us. I'm so excited. It is the coolest costume. Great, said my mom. Okay, Freddy, now it's your turn to look. That's okay, Mom, I said. I think I'll just be a shark again this year. Fraidy cat, Susie whispered in my ear as she ran off to pay for her costume. Chapter 4. Big Mouth. Every day at lunch Chloe had been telling us about her big plans for the Halloween party. After all, bragging is what she does best. My mom and dad are spending a fortune to turn our house into a real haunted house. Well, they aren't actually doing it. They hired these special party planners to set it all up. You are all going to love it. I just can't wait until tomorrow night, she said, squealing and clapping her hands. She finally shut her mouth for a second only because she ran out of breath. I guess she never gets tired of listening to herself talk. As soon as she gulped some air, she was off and